Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Bible in a Year with Lovie, day 110. Look at us go. We are reading the Life Application Study Bible, 3rd edition, New Living Translation, for anybody interested in following along who's just tuning in. I'm recording today from a place called Goshen, Mississippi. Let me spell it for y'all because I can't really pronounce it. I could call it Gautier, but that's probably wrong too. It's Gautier. So, however you pronounce that, that's where I'm recording from today. You know, start my day with the word, and my day can't go wrong after that, right? Put God first. Seek God first in everything you do, and everything else will line up after that. So, I'm trusting that getting in my word first before I even crank my truck is exactly what I'm supposed to do and share it with you guys. So today we are going to read 2 Samuel 9, 10, and 11, and then we're going to flip over to Luke chapter 15 and finish it off. So if you guys are ready, let's dive right in. 2 Samuel chapter 9. Here we go. One day David asked, "Is anyone in Saul's family still alive? Anyone to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" He summoned a man named Ziba, who had been one of Saul's servants. "Are you Ziba?" the king asked. "Yes, sir, I am," Ziba replied. The king then asked him, "Is anyone still alive from Saul's family? If so, I want to show God's kindness to them." Ziba replied, "Yes, one of Jonathan's sons is still alive. He is crippled in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. "In Lodabar," Ziba told him, "at the home of Machir, son of Amiel." So David sent for him and brought him from Machir's home. His name was Mephibosheth. He was Jonathan's son and Saul's grandson. When he came to David, he bowed low to the ground in deep respect. David said, "Greetings, Mephibosheth." Mephibosheth replied, "I am your servant." "Don't be afraid," David said. "I intend to show kindness to you because of my promise to your father, Jonathan. I will give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will eat here with me at the king's table." Mephibosheth bowed respectfully and exclaimed, "Who is your servant that you should show such kindness to a dead dog like me?" Then the king summoned Saul's servant Ziba and said, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and servants are to farm the land for him to produce food for your master's household. But Mephibosheth, your master's grandson, will eat here at my table." Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Ziba replied, "Yes, my lord the king, I am your servant, and I will do all that you have commanded." And from that time on, Mephibosheth ate regularly at David's table, like one of the king's own sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah. From then on, all the members of Ziba's household were Mephibosheth's servants. And Mephibosheth, who was crippled in both feet, lived in Jerusalem and ate regularly at the king's table. Y'all see how David was a man of his word and he honored what he said? Like, he never wanted to harm Saul or Saul's family. Saul was the one chasing after him. You know, and in the end, he wasn't the one who took Saul out. So, in fact, he killed the man who took Saul out. And he grieved greatly for Saul and his best friend, Jonathan. He loved Jonathan and Saul. Anyways. And I just love that David was a man of his word. And he brought Mephibosheth back to him and gave him all his family's stuff back. You know, like, here, this is yours, man. And I want you to have it. I love that. I love that. David he had excellent integrity. All right. Chapter 10. Sometime after this, King Nahash of the Ammonites died, and his son Hanan became the king. David said, I'm going to show loyalty to Hanan, just as his father Nahash was always loyal to me. So David sent ambassadors to express sympathy to Hanan about his father's death. But when David's ambassadors arrived in the land of Ammon, the Ammonite commander said to Hanan, their master, do you really think these men are coming here to honor your father? No, David has sent them to spy out the city so they can come in and conquer it. So Hanan seized David's ambassadors and shaved off half of each man's beard, cut off their robes at the buttocks, and sent them back to David in shame. When David heard what had happened, he sent messengers to tell the men, stay in Jericho until your beards grow out, and then come back, for they felt deep shame because of their appearance. When the people of Ammon realized how seriously they had angered David, they sent and hired 20,000 Aramean foot soldiers from the lands of Beth Rehob and Zobah, 1,000 from the king of Maacah, and 12,000 from the land of Tob. When David heard about this, he sent Joab and all his warriors to fight them. The Ammonite troops came out and drew up their battle lines at the entrance of the city gate, while the Arameans from Zobah and Rehob and the men from Tob and Maacah positioned themselves to fight in the open fields. When Joab saw that he would have to fight on both the front and the rear, he chose some of Israel's elite troops and placed them under his personal command to fight the Arameans in the fields. He left the rest of the army under the command of his brother, Abishai, who was to attack the Ammonites. If the Arameans are too strong for me, then come over and help me, Joab told his brother. And if the Ammonites are too strong for you, I will come and help you. Be courageous. Let us fight bravely for our people and the cities of our God. May the Lord's will be done. When Joab and his troops attacked, the Arameans began to run away. And the Ammonites saw the Arameans running. And when the Ammonites saw the Arameans running, they ran from Abishai and retreated into the city. After the battle was over, Joab returned to Jerusalem. The Arameans now realized that they were no match for Israel, so when they regrouped, they were joined by additional Aramean troops summoned by Hadadezer from the other side of the Euphrates River. These troops arrived at Helam under the command of Shabak, the commander of Hadadezer's forces. When David heard what was happening, he mobilized all Israel, crossed the Jordan River, and led the army to Helam. The Arameans positioned themselves in battle formation and fought against David. But again, the Arameans fled from the Israelites. This time, David's forces killed 700 charioteers and 40,000 foot soldiers, including Shobak, the commander of their army. When all the kings allied with Hadadezer saw that they had been defeated by Israel, they surrendered to Israel and became their subjects. After that, the Arameans were afraid to help the Ammonites. Chapter 11. In the spring of the year, when kings normally go out to war, David sent Joab and the Israelite army to fight the Ammonites. They destroyed the Ammonite army and laid siege to the city of Rabbah. However, David stayed behind in Jerusalem. Oh, here we go. It's about to get real juicy, y'all. Late one afternoon, after his midday rest, David got out of bed and was walking on the roof of the palace. As he looked out over the city, he noticed a woman of unusual beauty taking a bath. He sent someone to find out who she was, and he was told she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. Then David sent messengers to get her, and when she came to the palace, he slept with her. She had just completed the purification rites after having her menstrual period. Then she returned home. Later, when Bathsheba discovered that she was pregnant, she sent David a message saying, "I'm pregnant." Then David sent word to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." So Joab sent him to David. When Uriah arrived, David asked him how Joab and the army were getting along and how the war was progressing. Then he told Uriah, "Go on home and relax." David even sent a gift to Uriah after he had left the palace, but Uriah didn't go home. He slept that night at the palace entrance with the king's palace guard. When David heard that Uriah had not gone home, he summoned him and asked, "What's the matter? Why didn't you go home last night after being away for so long?" Uriah replied, "The ark and the armies of Israel and Judah are living in tents, and Joab and my master's men are camping in the open fields. How could I go home to wine and dine and sleep with my wife? I swear that I would never do such a thing." "Well, stay here today," David told him, "and tomorrow you may return to the army." So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem that day and the next. Then David invited him to dinner and got him drunk. But even then, he couldn't get Uriah to go home to his wife. Again, he slept at the palace entrance with the king's palace guard. So the next morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and gave it to Uriah to deliver. The letter instructed Joab, "Station Uriah on the front lines where the battle is fiercest. Then pull back so that he will be killed." So Joab assigned Uriah to a spot close to the city wall where he knew the enemy's strongest men were fighting. And when the enemy soldiers came out of the city to fight, Uriah the Hittite was killed along with several other Israelite soldiers. Then Joab sent a battle report to David. He told his messenger, "Report all the news of the battle to the king." But he might get angry and ask, "Why did the troops go so close to the city? Didn't they know they would be shooting from the walls? Wasn't Abimelech, son of Gideon, killed at Thebez by a woman who threw a millstone down on him from the wall? Why would you get so close to the wall? Then tell him Uriah the Hittite was killed too." So the messenger went to Jerusalem and gave a complete report to David. "The enemy came out against us in the open fields," he said, "and as we chased them back to the city gate, the archers on the wall shot arrows at us. Some of the king's men were killed, including Uriah the Hittite." "Well, tell Joab not to be discouraged," David said. "The sword devours this one today and that one tomorrow. Fight harder next time and conquer the city." When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. When the period of mourning was over, David sent for her and brought her to the palace, and she became one of his wives. Then she gave birth to a son, but the Lord was displeased with what David had done. And we'll see tomorrow what the results were of him being displeased with what David had done. Because I'm going to tell you what. Don't make God mad. Don't make God mad. Like, God don't play. He ain't playing with us. And when y'all hear the rest of this story, and some of you already know this story, but when y'all hear the rest of the story, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, God ain't playing with us. Like, don't think that everything that happens to you is just the enemy trying to attack you. No, God will punish you. Don't get all holier than thou and think you're all righteous and you still got something in your closet that only God knows about. Because He will set you straight. He will. He will. And even the righteous fall. Even the righteous. A saint is just a sinner who fell down and got back up. Like, we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So, just trust that it ain't always Satan. It ain't always the enemy working against you. Sometimes it's God trying to correct you. And honey, it be hurting when God corrects you. Like, It ain't no fun. But he'll correct you in a way that you learn your lesson. I won't make that mistake again. Oh yeah, been there, done that. Alright. Now we are flipping over to Luke chapter 15. We're going to pick up on verse 11 and we're going to finish it off. This is all red letters. This is Jesus teaching. This is Jesus' teaching. So let's pay attention to this. Because it's Jesus teaching us here. So Luke 15:11. For those of y'all following along, I'm trying to give y'all time to get there. If y'all are ready, here we go. To illustrate the point further, Jesus told them this story. A man had 2 sons. The younger son told his father, I want my share of your estate now before you die. So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his sons. A few days later, his younger son packed up all his belongings and moved to a distant land, and there he wasted all his money in wild living. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land, and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him. But no one gave him anything. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, at home, even the hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I'm dying of hunger. I will go home to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I'm no longer worthy of being called your son. Please take me on as a hired servant. So he returned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, Father, I've sinned against both heaven and you, and I'm no longer worthy of being called your son. But his father said to the servants, Quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet, and kill the calf we've been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast. For this son of mine was dead, and has now returned to life. He was lost, but now he is found. So the party began. Meanwhile, the older son was in the fields working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. And he asked one of the servants what was going on. Your brother is back, he was told, and your father has killed the fattened calf. We're celebrating because of his safe return. The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him, but he replied, All these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you told me to do. And in all that time, you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet, when this son of yours comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, you celebrate by killing the fattened calf. His father said to him, Look, dear son, you've always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he's found. When I tell y'all they celebrate in heaven every time a sinner repents and accepts Christ into their life, like they do, man. Like, you don't understand. Like, don't think that just because this person over here is righteous and this one's just now coming to Christ, that God doesn't duly celebrate both. You know, it just means a lot when a sinner comes back, you know, when you're lost and then you're found. Like, when we give our lives to Christ, we die to ourselves, and we're born again new people in Christ, right? So that's what this is referring to. Your brother was dead, but he's come back to life. We are the brothers and sisters of Jesus Christ. we're dead in our flesh. When we're living out here for the world, we're dead. Our souls are dead. When we give our lives to Christ and we're baptized and we're born again, we're a new creation. We're supposed to reflect Jesus Christ. We're supposed to live accordingly as a new creation in Christ. And we're supposed to go out and make disciples. You know, like God left the 99 for the one. I was the one he left the 99 for. You're the one. You're the one that he left the 99 for. Repent and turn to Christ and man, just do your best to walk this thing out, because he loves you and there's a celebration in heaven just waiting for you. With all that said, man, this was a good one. Can't wait to finish that story of David and Bathsheba, however you pronounce her name, tomorrow. Y'all just remember that if you want to see a change, you have to be the change. We lead by example, we follow by design. If it ain't a God thing, it ain't a good thing. So y'all, I'm praying that everybody has a wonderful, blessed rest of the day. And y'all don't forget to love like Jesus. I'll see y'all tomorrow.